Fretting out a little bit on this guitar today, but that's okay. I have my action very low, that's why. Anyways, welcome to another Music Maker lesson here today. I had a request, actually, from, I don't want to mention any names just in case anybody gets blown up on the internet or anything like that, but I had a request to do Mucho by Dopapod. And I'm not going to do the full song today or anything like that, but I'm going to talk about like internalizing some of the ways that we might learn how to play this song. It's a really cool tune, fun little fact, explain-o-brag. I went to Berklee College of Music, and I believe me and those guys graduated in that same year. I walked in 2007 for the first one, and then I walked twice. That said, yeah, 2007, and then I fully got the diploma there in 2011 after taking a break and actually doing some teaching around and stuff. But anyways, that's a little fun little tidbit. Berklee. Yes. Anyways, that tune's really, really fun. So here's what's kind of going on with like the main part and with like maybe kind of, you might call it the verse section. So first part is actually fairly easy. It's in E flat mixolydian-ish. And when I say ish, I definitely hear kind of like sharp nines all over the place. So that's got like kind of a flat 3 and a regular 3 feel. So that said, I'm going to show the little shape for how to do that scale, but please do not get locked into a shape or like a chart or anything like that. Don't like go for tabs on this stuff. It might be like a really good way to just learn the exact notes of the song, but if you're talking about really trying to like learn music on a deep level, I think it's about hearing and it's about understanding it. And if you don't already understand it just from listening, then that probably means that we have some fundamental work to do. So I'm going to kind of go through like some of the lines that I did, and I'm going to go through some of the techniques. I would recommend, if that anything of this video is confusing, go check out my website. I have a lot of these tools and techniques that we're going to use here in much greater detail over there. But yeah, I'm going to definitely talk about some of the stuff today, right here. So that said, it's kind of a mixolydian scale, but there's an extra note. So I'm going to show the mixolydian scale below, and then I'm going to play through it, and then I'm going to show you the extra note. So we're in E flat, which is convenient for us guitar players, but that's going to be, if you're doing the shape that I mentioned, you're going to do that from here. Basically first finger or second finger on fret 11. And actually, yeah, it should probably be second finger if you're doing the shape. So that's it. It's this, 2, 4. And then the next note there is here, but I do this. You get the sharp 9. Right? So. Right? So it's 2, 4, stretch your 1, 1. And then back into place, 1 again. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. And then here I like to just move my whole position up. So it's 2, pinky from there is like do again. And then there's your second note, and then boom, right here. 2 finger, 4 finger, and the next string, 1, 3, 4, 1. And then you can kind of go up. And what's kind of cool about this scale is it's a mixolydian mode, but it also, like, if you know your pentatonic scales, which a lot of guitar players, if you're getting into Dopapod and jamming on Dopapod songs, you probably know this regular old pentatonic scale. All of those notes are in this version of the Mixolydian scale that has a sharp 9 in it. So that's kind of cool because you can use that. Use all those like bluesy little bendy things are kind of like available to us here. So that said, here's kind of what the guitar part's doing. Rob's doing a really cool like scratch thing. So like there's a bass line. I can't actually remember what the bass line is, but it's definitely grooving on an E flat. And then Rob's bass line scratch part is using this. So again, that's why I don't get it locked into shape, because like there's another Mixolydian shape right here. Always learn the sound and the scale degree, not the shape. And then if you want to really kind of like quiz that on yourself on a guitar, a really good way to do that is like take this shape that we just did and see if you can play it somewhere else, you know? Sorry. And then maybe see if you can play it on one string, right? If you can get down there, right? Right, if you can hit all of that and maybe just play them in a couple of positions and then on one string, and then maybe play all of those inversions of pentatonic scales, you have like so much more than you even need in terms of notes to be able to play this tune. It's just now about like hearing them and putting them in the correct location. So yeah, that said, Rob's part here, it's pretty simple. It's doing the root and the 7, and then the 5th and the 4th, which is also accessible here. But I don't think it sounds on the recording like he's using that 3rd string. I can hear like a certain kind of 3rd stringy quality about that that I think is happening there. So I would play that there, and maybe even like pick kind of closer to. And I'm using a Telecaster, which is probably a completely different kind of guitar than that's on the recording, but I like to use these little Squier instruments to show you that you can play this stuff. You don't need to like own a PRS to be able to like play Dopapod stuff. Like you can play this on anything. Okay, now that said, yeah, that's what it is. That's his like main guitar part there in the beginning. I like to look at like the keyboard part though, because Eli's part is like amazing. So he's got this thing going on. He's doing like some triads that descend. So again, if you don't know triads, I would check them out. But these are all basically in the key of this E flat Mixolydian sharp 9-ish thing. So what he's doing is he's kind of like outlining this E7 sharp 9, right? So it's there. That said, he's doing this. So this is, it's actually a G flat triad, but if you analyze that to like E flat, that's like the 5th and the flat 7 and the flat 3. So he's playing those together. And then I'm hearing it's either this, which is an F minor triad, or this, which is it's kind of like a little bit out of maybe like a B flat 7 or a B flat minor 7. But the reason it kind of works is it walks down. And that's kind of the notes that he's hitting at the end. It's there. So walking down, I'm just going to go through the scale degrees. And again, if you don't know scale degrees, I think that's really important to learn. So go check it out on my website. I have a very cheap plan there. Or you can just get a lesson with me over there if you want to do that. Whatever you want to do, we'll get it worked out. But you should be able to play this stuff. I'm not special. I've just been doing this forever. That said, right? There's your G flat. Then you have F. Then you have E flat. Then I like to do like this. I like to do like that. It's just like D flat. And then this is actually like a minor chord. But again, by degree, that's 5th, flat 7, root, 4th, 13th, 9th, or 4th, 13, 2. Then 3rd, 5th, root. Maybe do like a blue note 3rd. Right? Then 9, 11th, 7th, right? So then And this is a C minor triad. If you are checking into like any of my packet stuff, but that's a C minor triad. But again, over E, we have E flat, which is the root. You got G as your third, and then you got C as your 13th. So it's kind of like a E flat 13, and then 7, 9, 5th. So that's like a 9 chord. And then at the top, he's hitting 7th and root. Now, I think that's where Eli's playing it. That's his register. I think it sounds like a little more guitaristic. Like, if you're just doing a guitar version of this, I think it sounds a little more guitaristic down here. Okay, so if that kind of makes sense. That's a lot of how this is played. Honestly, that's like most of this tune other than like the verse. So, I mean, that should hopefully explain it. Let's talk about maybe slide playing a little bit. And then I'll get on to the verse section, and then we'll wrap it up for today. But that said, here's how I practice slide for this tune, and then I have a couple of techniques that I do in general. Now for me, every time I pick up the slide, I put the pick in my mouth. It's just what I do. We have to, like, as soon as we put this on, all these vibrations happen, and we have to, like, control them. Otherwise, the guitar is telling us what to do. It's not the other way around, and then we look like we don't know what we're doing. So for me, like, the pick, either like I throw it on the floor, or it usually kind of goes in my teeth here. But that said, I just do that, and then when I play, what I try to do, and I've done a slide guitar video before, so maybe go check that out if you want a little bit more detail. But the main thing that I'm doing is the fret comes off of the guitar and it moves onto your finger when you put the slide on. So you can't play like we're used to playing in the middle, like this. You have to play more on the fret. You have to like get the where the contact happens right there. And you have to be very gentle, because if you push, then you're going to activate the actual fret, which is... that gives you a buzz and like fret noise, which usually we don't want on a slide. So that said, I practice doing it very gently, and actually I broke my rule right there, right? And then I just make sure that's the only thing that's vibrating and that it's in tune. And I try to be silent in between. I'm actually trying to play them so that they sound like I'm just fretting them normally with my fingers. And the reason I do that is because, again, that's going to control the sound as much as we can. We can always add that stuff in later. But to really, really get accurate in-tune notes is something that I think is really, really important. Again, practice for that, so that everything is really like properly in tune. And then again, like if you want to play out of tune, that's up to you. You're the artist and you control that. But I think it's good to practice being in control of that so that you can really understand fully. Cool, cool, awesome. I'm excited. So I play just fully up that. If you can get that far. If it's only one octave, if that's all that's comfortable for you now, just play one octave. That's not a big deal. If it's just a pentatonic scale for now, that's also not a big deal. I went too fast and went out of tune there, but that's just goes to show you. This is just kind of stuff to practice for, you know, and again, nobody's perfect. As long as I'm better today than I was yesterday, I know I did okay. So I think that's all I'm going to do for slide today. If you like that lesson, let me know, though, and I can do maybe a more in-depth just slide guitar lesson. I want to get back to the tune really quick. Now, the other part of this thing, let's analyze a little bit. It's an E flat chord. Then F minor. Then, here's what I had. I think they're putting in just a straight minor 7 flat 5 chord right there. It kind of serves as like a substitute for the 1 chord. Kind of making it like a 9 chord a little bit. But I'm hearing that like in the bass. I'm hearing the 3rd walking down. So I'm hearing that. So E flat, F minor 7. Then this chord, this one's the one that most guitar players have a little more trouble with. It's a minor 7 flat 5 chord. So if you take this shape, basically, like a G minor 7, but that actually has 1 note too many, so I'm just going to play the 4 in the middle. This is your root and your 5th and your flat 7 and your minor 3rd. So all you do is take this note, drop it 1 fret. That gives you a flat 5. Now if you wanted to add that extra note on the top, you can do that. It just goes here. So that's your 5th. That goes there. And you could totally voice that this way. There's some freedom there if you understand where all of those are. But I hear the voicing on the record as this. G minor 7 flat 5. And if you're like soloing over it, you should learn those inversions all over everything. Again, minor 7 flat 5 chords is a whole other thing. We'll do those on maybe another time. But I think that's the chord that I'm hearing in the song. So it's... Then there's a B chord at the end. So that's a flat 6 chord. It's really cool progression. And I think the flat 6, like Dopapod, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the flat 6 chord in a major progression, that's like your thing. Like you guys love that sound. I think it's a part of your sound, and I love it. It's like really like, it's cool. It's like your signature, and I can really get behind the flat 6 chord signature, man. That said, kudos to you guys. But yeah, that's what that is. So E flat major, F sharp, F minor, 7, G minor 7 flat 5, F minor 7, E flat major, B, just a regular old B bar chord is what I'm hearing in there, but he might be kind of like playing a little, there's a lot of stuff going on the mix on that, so I hear like this, and it's mixed in. That might be a little heavy if you're playing with a band though, so like you might just want to maybe pair that down to a triad, or like a triad with the bass note. I feel like that sounds a little different than that sounds, so you know, just use with caution, you know, be careful, use your discretion, use your artistic license, and use what you think sounds good. Use your ears and your brain. Anyways, I think that just about covers it for this lesson, but if you have any questions about any of that stuff, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.